Yo, what's up guys? This is Aspire back with another video. In today's video we're going to be showing you guys how to make perfect thumbnails for RH2 Season 3 and any other game if that's what you're interested in. Alright, so first step, you're going to have to go to Studios. Roblox Studios is where you would get the avatar. I have my own place with all the avatars that I use. So what you want to do is first, you want to go to Avatar, Rig Builder, and you want to put in R6. Make sure you're in R6 or it would not work. And then you just do skinned avatar. Whoops. Do not do skinned avatar. Mesh avatar 2016. So this is the avatar you're gonna get. Now let's say you want your RH2 character. So there's currently no way to get your RH2 character without like going on the Roblox catalog and getting everything yourself. So let's just go here, go into my Roblox. So this character right here is pretty much my branding. This is my RH2 fit and stuff, so this is pretty much what I use. So if you look at that fit, it's basically just a jersey with headphones and stuff. So let's say I want this red and black jersey, right? So I'll go on Roblox catalog, I'll search up red jersey. Make sure when you go here, when you're going per thing, so let's say pants, red jersey. None of these look good. Or let's go, actually we have to go to shirts first. So red jersey. Now for mine, I was looking for a plain red jersey, which is this one right here, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. So once you got it, this is it. Now you don't have to join, you don't have to buy it to be able to use it. You just have to copy the ID. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. So once you have this, if you see right here on the URL, this right here is where you're gonna copy the link, the ID. So these numbers, you're gonna copy this. You're gonna go back to Studio, Plugins, Insert Asset. I'm gonna leave this plugin in the description. Import it, and it should show up here somewhere. Pretty sure it's this one. No, shirt, right here. So make sure you have your rig selected. Just open this so you know which one it is. So you're gonna see all these things here. You're gonna take the shirt, you're just gonna drag it in. Boom, now we have the shirt here. Now from here, what you want to do, you want to make sure you have the body color you want. So let's say this right here, this is gonna change it. You could do, let's do this one right here. So copy this, just put it on every single one. Now we have the body color. And then now next, if we go back to the avatar that I use, which is this one right here, now we need the pants. So you can use any red pants or black or whatever. So what we're gonna do is just gonna red jersey pants. We're gonna make sure we're in pants. All right, there we go. Okay, this one looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this right here. Gonna copy that ID again. Remember, this is what we're doing, we're copying the ID. Gonna come here, go back to the plugin. In the plugin, you're gonna insert asset, insert it. Then you're gonna come back up here, you're gonna grab it, which should be the pants right here. You're gonna drag it back onto your rig, and boom, now we have the pants. And right there, now we have basically all the clothing we need. Now for the accessories. Now let's say my hair, the hair that I use, let's just say this one right here. These are like ponytail dreadlocks. So what we're gonna do is, where's the rig? We're gonna come here. We're gonna go on Roblox catalog again, and we're just gonna search up ponytail dreadlocks in marketplace, and just find the one that matches that you need. Right here, this should be it. Black ponytail dreadlocks. Yep, this is the one that we need. So now what you're gonna do, copy the ID again, come over here, plugins, insert asset, paste the ID, and you see it kind of spawned behind me. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna drag it from the top again, put it right on your avatar. Actually, I'm gonna change the skin color because that's not really what my avatar looks like. It's more of this shade. So let's just go like this, change it all. Alright. And then now, usually I wear a blindfold. So we're gonna go back to the Roblox catalog. We're gonna search up blindfold. Right there. Oh, all items, blindfold. There we go. And just find one that you think looks good. Let me see how this looks. Okay, this one is fine. So I'm just gonna grab this one again, copy the ID, go back, insert asset, paste, and this should be right here. Yep. And we're gonna come back up to the top, drag it into the rig, and boom, now we have the blindfold there. Now what we're gonna do is, pretty sure that's the rest of my fit. Let's see. Okay, no, red headphones. So now the red headphones that I use, once again, come back to the catalog, red headphones. Just find any that looks good. I think these look good. These look pretty decent. I don't like that glow in the front though, that little shine. Maybe these look pretty nice. Yeah, these are nice and simple. So I'm gonna grab these headphones. Once again, copy the ID. Come over here, insert asset, paste. Now you see the headphones there. Once again, drag it. Is it this one? Okay, it's this one right here. Drag it and then move. That's the whole fit. Now this part is very important. When you save, you want to make sure you have the rig selected. You right click the rig, export selection, and then what you want to do is you're going to want to export it to wherever you have your saved files. I'm going to export it over here to my Blender files, create a new folder, and just want to name it whatever. So I'm just going to name it Aspire because that's my fit. And then this is what you're going to do. So now you have this exported. You remember this rig has to be R6 or it's not going to work. So you're going to export it like that. And then what you want to do is you want to export the accessory separately. So let's say this one right here, this is the headphones. Export. You can make a new folder so it doesn't mess up the meshes. So you put headphones, just label it headphones, boom, right there. Then you're going to go to the hair, same thing, make a new folder for the hair. And this is so that the models don't mix up textures, so when you bring it into Blender, it doesn't mess up. Same thing for the blindfold. So make a new folder, blindfold, and that should be it. So now that we have this, now this is where we go to Blender. So you can close this out, you won't need it anymore. Now we go to Blender. Alright, now that we're in Blender, what we're gonna do is first of all delete this right here. This is the default cube. Now I already have the plugin installed, but what you're gonna want to do is download these starter rigs, and it'll basically let you download the rigs. So I'm gonna leave the link in the description when you download it. Actually, let me show you guys how to download it. So you want to go here, Blender, Roblox Blender rigs. It's gonna be by Gumroad. This is it. You can just put $0 unless you want to give a tip or whatever. I already purchased it, so I could just view the content. You just download both of these. Once you download these, so I'm gonna show you. So once you guys download these, you guys are gonna go to Edit, Preferences, and you see here where it says Install. You're gonna install it. You're gonna find wherever you downloaded it. So let's see. I'm just gonna search it up. Roblox Starter Rigs. You click it, and it should show up right here. And once it shows up, you just want to check it, as you see, and then it will show up over here. in the taskbar. So starter rigs, then once you have this, you can just open it. Starter boy rig is what we're doing since it's going to be for RH2. And then this is where it gets a little complicated, so make sure you guys are paying attention. So I'm going to save this Blender file somewhere, obviously. Alright, so you want to click this icon right here to show textures. So from here, this is a character, right? What you're going to do is you want to click the body and then go to the shading tab. So once you're in the shading tab, you're going to click this right here. You see this? You're going to click the X. You're going to open. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the folder where you saved all of your assets, and you're just going to open this. And as you see, now I already have the shirt. Now for my thumbnails, what I do is I add a cartoon face. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to put this as faceless, so it has a face. After you put it faceless, all you have to do is just go back to layout, and right here we have our avatar. Now you're going to go to file, import, you're going to click OBJ, and then you're just going to go to where you exported all of your accessories. So here's my headphones. We're going to go headphones first. You right click, set origin, geometry to origin. That's if you didn't put it into origin on Roblox Studio, you just do it here. And then now we just gotta move the headphones, make sure it's in the right spot. That looks about right. Now we do the same thing for every other item. So I'm gonna speed this up here. Alright, that should be good. Now from here, what you're gonna want to do is you're just gonna want to find the pose. So I'm just gonna go on Google. Let's do this one. I like this one. This one right here. So now we're just gonna keep that as a reference there. And now we just pose. Now to do the pose, you want to click on the bone of the character. You're going to click pose mode up here. And then now here, you're free to move anything. You could move it. You could rotate it. You could scale it if you want. And this is just do everything in one. And from here, you just pose it. So let's start with, let's say, the body first. Actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to move all of these hats out the way so that I can pose everything. So I'm just going to move it out the way and then we fix it later. So right here you can see his torso is like a little turned. Now if you want to individually move the hands, you just got to go back to object mode, or you got to go to pose mode. Click this star right here, which is linked to the hand. You go to item, properties, and if you activate this, this is for finger bones. If you do this, this is for fist control, so you can just make it a fist or flat. And then this is just if you want to like change the way the bones are. Instead of putting it like an elbow bone, you just have this right here. And if let's say you move it, it moves the elbow naturally. Now if you want to bring in the basketball, you do the same thing we did with the avatar, you just go to Roblox Studio. Now from here in the toolbox, you could just search on basketball. Doesn't really matter which one you pick, just pick a basketball. You right click it, export selection, just put it somewhere. I'm just gonna put it in my downloads here, basketball. And now you could close this out, and then you go to file, import OBJ, and just import the basketball. So this one right here, same thing, set origin to geometry to origin. You could shrink the ball if you need, because usually spawns too big. Just make sure you put it the right size. I'm just gonna rotate the ball at a random direction, so it's not like just same spot. Now what we're gonna want to do, we're gonna go back to object mode. We're gonna select all these hats, click Ctrl J, and that'll group them all together. So as you see, now they're all grouped. That's if you have multiple accessories. But now basically just move it to match the head and where the head is. And this looks about right here. So now while we're in object mode, we're going to click add camera, and our camera's here. Now if you have a 100% keyboard and you have a numpad, it would just be numpad 0 to go into the camera view. But if you have a 60% or less than 100% like me, and I don't have a numpad, you want to go to edit, preferences. You're going to go to input, and then emulate numpad. So that's basically making it so that all the numpad controls are your regular numbers. So then you just have to click 0. You're in camera view, you go in fly cam, and you just position it. Now what I like to do for renders is I like to make this 1920 by 1920, so it's just this right here, and that makes it a full square, so you can just render it exactly how you need it. Now another option is if you're making a thumbnail, you could put it 1920 by 1080, and you could just position it where you're gonna want it in your thumbnail. So let's say if I was making the thumbnail and I want it here, I'll just position it there. But since it's just a render for now, I'm just gonna put it 1920 by 1920 to make it a square. We're just gonna move it to where the whole character is in the frame, and I can render it like this. Now what we're gonna do is from here, you see this right here, this is the rendered view. So this is how it's gonna look once it's rendered. And as you can see, it's pretty dark and there's like no color in it. So what I'm going to do here, so first of all, you want to come here to this right here, click film, transparent. That's to make so it has no background. Now what we're gonna do here is when we go here, you're gonna go to this one right here, the second one that says output. You're gonna click render region. Now what that does is basically just focuses in this camera view. So let's say if I move this out here, you can see it kind of blurs out the ball and everything outside. It's just to reduce any like distractions or any outside things that shouldn't be there. Now we're just gonna move it back to where it is. Now when I go into the rendered view, the video might lag a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then we'll go from there. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to add light, sun, and then from here you want to make sure you have the sun selected. You're going to go to this data thing where the light bulb, you're going to put the strength between 7.5 to 10. So we're just going to go like 7.8 or something like that. And if you go back into the rendered view, you'll see when it loads, because it's going to lag a little bit, you'll see how the sun is a little bright. Now the angle, you're going to want to change it. Let me put it back into this view so it doesn't lag. The angle, you want to change it to something above 140 and under 180. So I'll just go like in the middle a little bit, like 155. And as you see when you go in the rendered view, when it loads in, there we go, it should load in now. Now we have this right here, and it's nice and bright, and the rest of the lighting we'll do in Photoshop. So right here, after this, you just put it back. That's it, we're done with that. And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna save it just in case, because if Blender crashes, you're gonna lose the file. So I'm just gonna save as, and I'm gonna make another copy basically, just in case Blender crashes, you won't lose the file. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna click render. You're gonna click render image. Now it's gonna start rendering. So now what you want to do is you just want to click image, save as, just save it somewhere. I have my own folder where I save all my renders, so I'm just gonna put it there. Now what you're gonna want to do, you're just gonna open Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, an alternative, if you go to Google, you can search up Photopea. I'll leave the link in the description also. This is basically Photoshop, but a free version. And it works the same way. Some functions may be a little bit different, but it's relatively the same. Now what we're gonna do is gonna go new file, 1920 by 1080, and now we have this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to file, open, and you're just gonna want to open the render you just made. Now you're gonna drag this render into here, and we're gonna shrink it to make sure it fits in the screen. And there we go, it should be good like this. Now it fits in the screen. Make it a little bigger because I don't like having it outside the screen, just like that. Now the first step to making this is getting a background. Now where I get my backgrounds from, I get them from RH2. I basically just take a screenshot and then just bring the screenshot into Photoshop. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to use this background. You make it bigger, put it behind him. So now we have this. Now what you're going to want to do is with this background is you're going to want to add a blur to it. So you're going to click on make sure you're on the layer with the background. You're going to click filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Now what you're going to want to do is just blur it enough so the character kind of sticks out. So I think around 3 to 4 should be good. Around 3 to 4. So we're just going to leave it at 3, and this looks good so far. Now, as you can see, the background colors are pretty dull. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. This little thing right here, you click brightness and contrast. We're just going to mess around with these settings a little bit, increase the brightness, the contrast. And we're going to add a hue and saturation. Now the saturation is going to make it more colorful basically and make the colors pop. So that's what we're going to do. And then after you do that, you might have to adjust the brightness and contrast. Just do that, just play around with it. And this looks pretty good. And as you can see, this compared to this, it's way better. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to change the color of the character to make him stand out more and just give him a better view in general. So you're going to want to click on this layer with the character, with the render you made. And now that you have this selected, you're going to go to filter, camera raw filter. You're just going to let this open up. Alright, well the camera raw filter isn't working, so we're just going to do it manually. So just select this, you're going to go here, brightness and contrast, just adjust it a little bit. Don't worry about the background changing, it's going to be fixed. Just worry about your character. If you want, you can even hide the background just so it doesn't bother you. And basically just adjust it to where you like it for the character. Gonna add a hue and saturation. Just saturate it a little bit. And the reason we do this is because you can add curves too and kind of just work around with the curve. The reason we do this is because for YouTube thumbnail specifically, you want to have a bright thumbnail. So now what you're going to do is you're going to select all of these, right click, merge layers, and now everything is merged to that only. And now all the effects are basically done on the character only and not on the background. Now once we have this, you're gonna want to add whatever image it is that you want. So let's say you wanted to add a takeover image, so I'll just search up, let's say shooting takeover 2K24. something like that. And just basically find a picture. Like let's say this one. This is a good picture. Alright, we're just gonna have to do with this. So copy image, paste. Oh, it's not blurry here. Okay. Now you're gonna select the magic wand tool. This basically just deletes the border. If there's anything extra, you could just take the eraser and just go by it. Just erase all the extra. One way to check if there's any extra, you just click the magic wand and just click on the outside and you'll see. So let's say this right here, you can see there's a little bit extra here. Just go here, erase that, erase this, just like that, boom. Now what you're gonna want to do is click Control U. This will bring up this hue and saturation. What you're gonna do is you're gonna click Colorize down here. That basically is gonna add color to it. Now make sure the hue is like a reddish hue. So that's what takeover is, and then just saturate it. I think probably 85 is a good saturation. Now what you're gonna want to do is just make it bigger, obviously. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna search up a fire ring cartoon look. So we're gonna just grab one of these fire rings. Just grab something that looks good. This one looks pretty decent, I guess. I like this one actually. Let's go with this one. This one has a watermark. If you want to remove the watermark, I have a tab that removes watermarks. And I'll put this in the description too. So basically you just drag this onto here. It's gonna upload the image. It's gonna remove the watermark for you. So we're just gonna download this. It's downloaded. Now when we come back here, we're gonna file, open. And you're just gonna find where it was saved. You're gonna bring it in, resize it so that it's around the same size as the takeover. You can move the takeover above it to kind of put it like this. This fire ring is too cartoony for me, so I'm gonna go back to Google and just do the same thing. Let's copy this one. Let's hope this one deletes perfectly. Okay, this one isn't too bad. Now what we can do from here is just select this, colorize it, and or maybe not colorize, but now we're just going to just saturate it a bit. Just mess with the hue so that it kind of just matches. So this is good. Just gonna bring it up, put it around the takeover. I like to, for this takeover specifically, I like to cover the dotted lines. That's how you know it's kind of in the right spot. Now if you want, if the white is bothering you, which it kind of is bothering me a little bit, you could colorize it, saturate it, and then change it to like red or something, or an orange. Just not really doing much, so I might as well just leave it like that. You can obviously also add just a saturation node or something. Just saturate it a little more and then merge it. And then right here what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy the fire outline since I'm gonna add another takeover, but from here you could just select both of these and you can right click, merge layers, and now this is all one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just move it behind this guy right here. Line it all up. This needs to be a little bit bigger since we made the fire ring the size of this one. Now same thing, you're going to select the two fire rings, merge it, bring this under the character layer, and then you could put it like back here or something. And then now we can name these if you want to name it, just so it doesn't get messed up. So you could just name this character, name this one, let's say Matador or Takeover. Now we have this. Now we could just move this around a little bit. You can pretty much do whatever you want with this from here. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to want to add a border. Now I have this GFX pack that I made. This is my stuff that I've made. I put everything together. I'm not sure if I'm releasing it yet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it paid or free, but I'll leave everything that I use in this video in the description in the Google Drive file. So at least the stuff that is in the thumbnail that I'm making right now, I'll leave it there. Alright, so we're gonna take this border from here, and I'm just gonna put it, and you could move it so it's under the character and under the takeover, so it kind of is just for the background. If it's too bright, you can lower the opacity here, and it kind of just lowers it. And then from here, what we could do is you can add, let's say if you want, depending on the video, you can add maybe the RH2 logo, or you can add some text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the logo. Just going to drag that in. I'm going to increase the size. I'm just going to delete this extra. Increase the size a little bit. I'm going to drag it under the takeover. I'll even drag it under the effects we did. And now there's two different ways you can work with this. You can add a filter, a blur, which would be this one, which is just a Gaussian blur. Or what you can do is you can add and pixelate a mosaic, and that basically kind of like pixelates it depending on what kind of video it is. If you want to hide the logo or something, I'm just gonna do a basic blur. Something around 5 would work for me, maybe 4.5. And now from here, the thumbnail is almost done. Now for the character, you're gonna want to right click, go to blending options, and you just want to add a glow. Now for the glow, I make sure the opacity is 100. The range is how blurry the glow is, if you want to call it that. The lower the range, the more like stiff and hard the outline looks, and you don't want that. It's more of a glow, so I'll put the range maybe around 70. The size is kind of how far out the glow goes, and the spread is also kind of the hardness of the glow, so kind of just mess around with it so it's just a nice outline and not too stiff. So something like this maybe. You could do the same thing for the takeovers, but instead of white you might want to make it red or something, or maybe an orange color, dark orange color. So do the same thing for both of these. And then for the RH2 logo, what I'm going to do, same thing, just right click, blending options, and I'm just gonna add a stroke, which is just a basic outline. I'm gonna make it something that matches the color of the RH2. So we already have red/orange on the takeover, so we're gonna make it maybe a nice yellow. Make sure it's like a good size, and then we're just gonna add an outer glow and make this also yellow. And then right there, that's a thumbnail. Looks pretty good if you ask me. And then for something extra that I do for my thumbnails, I like to add a cartoon face. So let's just add, let's say, a excited cartoon face. Just grab one of these, maybe something like this. Let's try this one. For me it's different because I have a blindfold, so it's just gonna be the mouth, but let's see how this looks. So I'm just gonna erase the eyes and everything else since it's just a mouth for mine. But what you want to do is if you hold control while you move it, it kind of changes the perspective, so you could like make it look like it's going back or forward. You can also do the same thing if you click up here, and you could kind of like modify it and move it around depending on how you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna kind of change the perspective so it's facing the same way as the character is. And what you want to do, you just want to make it a little bigger than the face itself. because that's kind of how the cartoon style goes. Then you just change the saturation a little bit, and then boom. And for the final product, you should have something looking like this. If you want, you can add maybe a tiny little glow on the mouth, just so it kind of sticks out, but don't make it too much so it's not like. So what you want to do is just change it so it's kind of just on the outside of the mouth, and just change the opacity down a little bit so it kind of just sticks out. And then that should be the finished thumbnail. One thing you could do is, if you want, you can also add text, but you don't also want to overwhelm the thumbnail. You want to make it relevant to your video and something that's someone can see really quickly and know what the video is about. And that's it for the thumbnail. This is it for the tutorial, and hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, you guys can message me on Discord. I'll have it in the description, and peace.